Hello guys, Gigahertz here again, and today we are going to be talking about shadowed unit frames, which is a really nice, very crisp looking unit frame setup that I use very often in like PvP. So we have this choice at the beginning where we have locked frames, so we can lock them down or we can unlink them. If we hit lock frames, everything will stay exactly where it is right now, which is what most people would probably do to just, lock the frames and now we're done. Like SUF has set up everything already for us, and that's the way it's going to look. So, ta-da, we're all done. That's one way to do it. And if we wanted to go do something else, we just hit down slash shadowed unit frames. Yeah, that's how I want to do. Slash SUF. Alright, so we could do that, or if you want, you can actually just hit escape and you can go into your interface and add-ons, and then shadowed unit frames has a standalone add-on thing. Okay, so you're gonna have to do what I just showed you. Alright, you're going to have to go to your chat slash SUF. There you go. There it is right there. So it has a standalone, and I don't know if you guys all know about the chat one already and the map one. I recently put them on keybinds, so my F1 through F4 are actually like things that make things disappear or did it appear. Like that's really cool. Okay, so that's what it does. Anyways, so for these, you can change what units are enabled, or what units are disabled, what you want to keep track of, what you don't want to keep track of. When you reset the profile, it's going to go back to what it was. So let's move that for now over here. And if you grab something now and you move it, it will move all as once. So there is all your bosses. You can chuck them over there. And there's your player, and if you wanted it down here, or if you wanted it more central to the screen or something, you could do that. So if you wanted that there, you could do that. Now your party, when you grab your party, it'll be all by itself. So if you want the party to stay over here, it'll go there like that. All right. So if you grab yourself, the whole thing will be linked together. And if you grab like just your target, then the target with the target's target and focus target, all that stuff, that'll move by itself. So if you wanted to, to separate things in that manner, that is how you would do it. So if you want to start at the very beginning, like we did at the beginning, and just grab the player, everything will be linked to when you grab it. All right. But then if you grab something off of that player, it'll change where it goes. So if you wanted to, to move the whole thing to a spot at the beginning, that's how you do it. And then if you want to move a part off, you just grab that part and put it over there. And if you wanted to, let's say, you wanted the player to be here, but then you're like, oh, I don't want the target to be there. I want it to be over here. Ta-da! Like, done. So you could feasibly be done at that point. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could be. So for these sorts of things, like unit configurations, or rather enabled units, what do you want on this? Well, currently we don't need this because we use Blizzard's raid profiles for the party, so the party doesn't need to be, we don't care about it. For the bosses over here, I don't really need that either. Blizzard does an okay job of putting them up there, and other than that, I don't really need to see them, or maybe I just turn them off completely. I don't really care about it. For the general tab, I want to see my target and the target of my target and my focus target, but I don't need the target of my target of my target. Like, I don't need that. Like, that's way too much. And the focus target, I really don't care. So there you go. Now we have the pet right here, and and do I care about my pet? Not particularly. I mean, I hate to say that, water elemental. But since I cannot name you, I cannot care for you. So that's how you set that up. And now, so that's there. Now we have much less things to configure. And when you go to the individual units, you can do things. So if you want to, there's a portrait there right now. If I want that enabled or not enabled, that's how I do that. As a matter of fact, let's close this for now and hit lock frame, so now I can see things. So I've got my target, and I'm gonna hit I'm gonna turn on my chat real quick. That's the wrong button. Chat real quick and write down focus slash focus. There, it works. All right. Okay. So there you go. That's the way things look now. Now, obviously, the scale on this is pretty small, so we're gonna have to adjust that. So let's turn chat back on and slash SUF, and there we go. Frame, the scale. Let's put it up to. Now you can either slide the bar, okay, which is one thing people do, or you could just like type in the thing you want. So if we want, say, 150, okay, that's how big it'll be. All right, if we wanted to add extra width, just change it to 200. This way we remember what they are: 50, 150, and 200. So when we go to player, when we go to the target, we go to the frame, we can change that scale to 150, and then we can change the width to our 200. So now we're ending up with things that are identical. And let's get rid of those portraits because for this one I don't particularly like portraits in shadowed unit frames for some reason. So yeah, so that's how that works right there. And if you go down to the bottom of the frame setting right here, you have your offsets and the X and the Y. So if you wanted to have those even, you could change your Y offset to, let's call this negative 200 maybe. All right, and then for this, let's put that to 175. All right, so that's where that's going to be. So it's negative 175 and 200. So when you go to your target, you go to the frame, it's going to be 175 instead of negative, and this will still be negative 200. There you go. So now you've ended up with a situation where now this is all even, it all looks good. And if you go to like the target of the target, you go to the frame, you can adjust the width. You can just increase the width to 300 or whatever. Like let's pull it back a little bit to, let's say, 290. All right, and then it's adjust like, okay, 295 maybe is where we want it, or maybe you want it 299, like, and then you kind of trying to get that to be as square as possible. There you go, that's fine. And then for your focus, you go to the frame and you can adjust the width a little bit, and there you go. Like, we'll go with 175, I guess. All right, and if you wanted to move the offset a bit, you could do that. You could put 0 and put the actual offset here instead of what it's currently set to. You could adjust it to 5, which will move it closer to your UI. Now we have like the way that we like things to look, and it's always best to use the actual like framing. That way you can really get an idea of like the offsets and stuff like that where you're putting them. Let's adjust the height real quick on that. Yeah, make that really bigger. And we'll do the same thing for the target of our target. Oh, so it was already set up that way, which is fantastic. So now the general information that we have, if you want to look at text and tags. So let's say you've got your target of your target. All right, you don't really care about it's how much health it has or anything like that, maybe. So for the health bar on the right text, instead of current HP, we just get rid of it. And then for the power bar, we drop that menu down, and for the right text, instead of showing the current power, we just get rid of it. So now they just disappear, and the left text, we get rid of the percent of power. So now that is cleaner. And then when we go to the focus target, we do the same thing. We go to text and tags. We go to the health bar. We want to know its name, I think. And then, so we can get rid of that. And then we go to power bar. Left text is. And then we do that. And then we do the right text. And like, there you go. Like, these are the kinds of things that you can do with it. You can also adjust auras, whether or not like the unit frame should give you certain information, whether all that information. That's really nice. The other thing that you can do with these, which is really kind of cool, is you can have a combat fader. And so much like we were talking about with Bartender, you can actually have things disappear. So you can, for your player, if you are inactive, you can have it like go like just kind of disappear. And same thing for your target. Like your target could be, you could actually have a range indicator. So it's out of range. You could have it, clickable, but not as bold. Like not as pronounced. And then when it gets into range, it actually shows up. So if we close that now, now we don't have a target, right? So since we don't have a target, we're not using our actual user interface, like our actual name or anything like that. Like there's nothing that needs to be done. Like there's no information that shows up. So now we're kind of like in combat, right? Well, then things start to show up. But now as soon as we ran out of like the need for more mana, as soon as we had all the mana that we needed, we suddenly could see what was going on. So like let's say if we grabbed Blizzard and we just started like casting Blizzard, man. Okay, come on, just get rid of some mana there. All right, so right now we see what's going on with our nameplate because we're low on mana. But as soon as that mana fills up, it'll disappear. And it would be the same thing with health. As soon as our health increased to the point where it was maxed out, it would be gone. So as soon as we hit 300k, it's gone. Now if I grabbed a target, now I need that information. Like I need to know where I am and where they are as far as their health and their power. But as soon as I don't have a target, I have no need for that bar. So it's kind of neat. It's kind of nice. You can just make things sort of disappear like that, which is something that doesn't happen in the Blizzard like unit frame user interface. So that is just some of the stuff that you can do with shadowed unit frames. And yeah, we'll show you some other cool things. Some other cool things in the future. If you have any questions about what we talked about in this video, or you want me to show a specific aspect of shadow unit frames to greater depth, just send me some information about like what you want and what you're looking for, and I'll do it in later videos, stuff like that. That's about it, guys. Have a nice day, and deuces.